recording. We're ready. Okay, first thing we are going to do, guys, this is a quick little go over homework video for my first assignment in mortgage payments. And I did put a key on the blog. Here, let me bring the blog up for you. I did put a key in the blog, guys. If you went to the end of the booklet and went, oh, is this like the first booklet where the answers are in the back? The answer is no. They didn't bother putting the answers in the back. So as we go, I will put answer keys up. And here's the first one. So let's take a quick look. Let's just look at the answers for number one. I was asking the class a minute ago, did you notice that there was a typo on the first question? And here's the typo. Apparently, in the world of whoever was typing this, when you take 180,000 and you minus 15,000, they think that's 155,000. Apparently, 180 minus 15 is apparently 155. No, it's not. It's 165. Oh, whoops. Yeah, that's an oops. So if you did not notice that, you might have slightly different answers than me. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. The big important part is that you did it the right way and you did it the same. Okay, phones away, guys. Let's pay attention and make sure we're doing this right. These should be easy marks on the next test, right? No pretend algebra, no crazy geometry formulas. Just add, subtract, multiply, and divide. That's the only thing you got to be able to do. You just have to know when to do which, right? Okay, first of all, Arlene buys a house worth $180,000. Her down payment's 15, so this should be a mortgage of 165. Again, if you had 55, your numbers will be a little different than mine. But where does this number come from? That's where you have to look at that chart that we gave you yesterday. Let me go to the chart real quick. The chart is, where is it? Amortization table. There it is. So there's the chart, and okay, that's how good my memory is. I've already forgotten what the actual number was. So the number was 20 years, 7.5. So I go to the chart, and I make it bigger, and I look for 7.5 for an interest rate, which is right there, and then I go to 20 years, and I don't even have to look at the top. I remember that's 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Winner! So that's the number. And again, I explain this by thinking every $1,000 of mortgage I buy costs me $7.99 a month. That's basically why this chart works the way it does. Okay, so there's the number I want. I want $7.99. So now I go back and I put $7.99 here. And I think I told you this the other day. I would never type 165,000 divided by 1,000 on my calculator. I'd never divide by 1,000 with a calculator. All you have to do is move the decimal that's at the end of the number 3 places over, which in this case just cancels those 3 decimals. So it's 165 times $7.99, and that's going to give me $1,318.35. Phew. That's a lot, but that's only for a $180,000 mortgage. A lot of people have a much bigger mortgage than that. Okay, from there, what do we do next? We calculate how much interest they pay in that first month. And that, we go back to grade 11, and we remember the PERT formula. Interest is principal times rate times time. And a very common mistake people make, I've still got people playing on their phones, you should be listening. A very common mistake people make is they think, oh, principal, that's how much the house costs, and they put 180,000 here. No, 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 no. It's only interest on what you borrowed from the bank. I didn't have to borrow 180 from the bank because I paid 15,000 already on my down payment. So it's the principal number is the number after the down payment. It's how much the actual mortgage is. Where did this crazy looking decimal come from? It was handed down from the gods. No, we figured it out. Where did it come from? That's right. Remember that 7.5%, you can't calculate with percent. So that's a grade 7 math thing. To change a percent to a decimal, you divide it by 100, which just takes that decimal place right there. I'm trying to point at it without the cursor getting in the way. And then you move it over 1, 2 places. So that's why the decimal moved from there to there. And come back, arrow. Oh, well. And where does 1/12 come from? Why a 12th? Because my interest rate is yearly, but I only want to calculate my interest for the first month, and a month is 1/12 of the year. We will not tell you what P, R, and T mean on the formula sheet. Sorry, I guess, well, does the formula sheet actually define them? I guess it does. But we won't tell you little tricks like, oh yeah, time is 1/12. You have to remember stuff like that. All right, I run that through the calculator, I get this number. Is that what you got? How do you find the C number? How much of principal is paid on the first month's payment. So I take the payments, I minus that number, which is how much tax, or not tax, sorry, how much interest I paid, and I get $287.10. So I only paid $287 out of over $1,000 towards actually owning my house. The other $1,000 was interest to the bank. Yikes. What's the new unpaid balance? Okay, well, I started by owing the bank $165,000, but I paid them $287.10. So I subtract that, and that's the number I get for the new unpaid balance. Finally, how much of the house do I own now? What's the fancy word for that? Equity. So how much equity do I have in the house now? Well, I bought $15,000 worth. That was my down payment. And then I just paid them $287.10 to the principal, so I add those, and I get $15,287.10. Finally, it asks, how much total interest am I paying over this mortgage? So I got to go back to the top and go, what kind of a mortgage is it again? 20 years. So I make this monthly payment for 20 years. So I go down and I go, okay, so I take that monthly payment, times it by 12, times it by 20, and then minus how much I actually borrowed from the bank in the first place. And take a look at that giant number. The amount of interest I pay over the 20-year mortgage is almost as much as the house was itself. And that's normal. That's how mortgages work. Yikes. Okay, so number 2 works exactly like number 1. So I'm not going to go through how to do number 2, but I did want to talk about number 3. Okay? So in fact, I'm going to go through number 3 with you here. So I'm going to skip past number 2. The answer key's on the blog. You can look it up for yourself. No peeking if you haven't tried it yet. No peeking. Okay, now let's look at number 3. Number 3, maybe Sam went to 2 different banks, Bank A and Bank B. Bank A told Sam, we'll give you a mortgage for your $105,500 at 7% for 20 years. Bank B said, we'll give you 6% for 25 years. What's the better deal? Well, it depends. The first thing I have to do is calculate the monthly payment for both of them. So for the 7% bank, I had to look up this number from the chart. I get $812.35 a month. For the second bank, which gave me a lower interest rate but wanted to lock me into a longer mortgage, I pay less every month. Check that out. So I guess an answer to the question, which one's better, could be, well, if budgeting is hard, if I don't have a lot of money coming in, this is a lower monthly payment, so that's the better option. But that's not the only way I could answer that question. Because it does say, calculate the amount of interest you would pay over the life of the mortgage. So let's do that whole mortgage thing again. If I pay this much every month for 20 years, and I take away how much I'm actually borrowing, I've paid the bank $89,464 in interest. Yikes. But on the other one, it's an even bigger yikes. Because yeah, it's a lower payment, but notice I pay it for 5 more years. So if I take that payment, times it by 25 years, 12 months every year, and then take away how much I borrowed, the bank gets $8,000 plus more dollars of my money over the course of the mortgage. So which one's better now? A better answer than just, well, I like Bank B because it's a smaller payment, might be if I can afford a slightly higher mortgage payment, like a little over $100 more, I can be mortgage free 5 years earlier and save $8,000 of interest to the bank. So I kind of like mortgage B better, don't you? I mean, let's think about it. Say that this is your first house that you're buying and you got a baby on the way. Well, if you could afford this mortgage, you are done it 5 years earlier, right? The kid's now 20 years old, maybe in university, maybe you could help out with tuition or something. Or you're stuck with this one and you're still making $600 a month payments. So, I don't know. I mean, it's arguable either way. Obviously, it kind of depends on who's buying the mortgage. If it's somebody who they're barely scraping by paycheck to pay for this mortgage, then I'd say, yeah, maybe go with the longer mortgage and keep your monthly payment down lower. But if it's somebody who has a budget, a cushion, maybe 2 incomes coming in paying for the mortgage, why not go for the bigger payment so that you're done faster? I don't know. It's arguable either way, but either way, guess what it takes to answer that question? You got to use your words. You can't just say, this one better, small number. Sorry, no good. Not giving you marks for that. You're big boys and girls in grade 12 now. You can use your words. Use your words. Isn't that what they told you in kindergarten? Don't hit, use your words. We're back. We're back. We're back to that, guys. Here in grade 12, use your words. You have to say and explain why you think one mortgage is better than the other and put some context to it, right? This mortgage is probably better for somebody who doesn't have a lot of money coming in, keeps the payments lower. But this is a better mortgage for somebody who can afford a slightly higher payment because they're finished the mortgage faster and they save money in the long run. Questions? Yes. All right. So I wanted to have that discussion with you because, again, when I test this stuff, I guarantee you a question like this, and I guarantee you will not get full marks if you just go, small number better. You gotta have some explanation to it, okay? You're in grade 12, you can use your words. All right, now we're gonna learn how to do something different. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the video there. So this was us going over homework, and the next video is gonna be us doing our second lesson. So thanks for watching this one.